welcome everyone to their Conversations in the Void. I'm your host, Graveyard, joined as always by all-screen producer. Make sure. No. There's no way. Not possible. What is going on? I don't know if you guys are hearing this. This is crazy. God damn it. I think it's happening again. I don't know what that was. They keep doing this to me, stripping me naked, taking all my clothes off, and just probing me. And we were best friends, but I have to go through and get to this, great Fire in the Sky merch they have there just on the Lost and Found box. But regardless, I'm black. They didn't want me again. It's a sad story, I know. But we are pleased to introduce our third time guest appearance by the one and only Ron Chevarie.
Hey. Hey, how you feeling there?
Oh, my butt hurts. It's a whole thing.
There's a cream for that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, shit's going down, brother.
It is. Oh man, I have people in my Twitch chat now going, am I doing viewer levels? No, it's a completely different show, guys. But Ron, I'm glad to have you back, man. It's been a while.
Thanks. It's my pleasure to be back. It has been a while, hasn't it?
It has. It's been too long, Ron. Too long. And we're here because I may be your first show after the release of Alien BTS. Am I not?
You actually are. That's verified. This is the first show after, since it just came out yesterday. So
yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. I mean, for anyone
by the way.
Yeah, that's I'll be icing it for sure.
But yeah, first show from the Earth premiere only on Found TV.
Yeah. It looks like I didn't wake up next to a phone booth. Happens in AZ. That's fair. Chilling encounters. That's very fair.
Yeah, even without getting abducted, that can happen.
Oh man. So Ron, tell us what you've been up to since we talked to you last, probably fall, and we'll get into Alien BTS here in a little bit.
Well, I've just been really busy in the editing of Alien BTS and getting all ready with that. Mm-hmm. We did a little move. Ironically, when I filmed Alien BTS, we were moving from that very location, so I had to restage a few areas to make it look like we were kind of still living there, as we had boxes all around us off screen, right? Mm-hmm. So it was really chaotic. So it's been a real shuffle in the last little while, finding place and reestablishing. But here we are in a new location. I've got a fresh haircut, and we got a new location. So that could just mean there's probably another film coming in the very near future. So I'll be working on that.
It's James Mills. Welcome, James. Yeah, I mean, it's you are a busy man, and getting your wife to appear in your stuff too is something that we talked about before. That I've been trying to get my wife involved in my movies, but she's like, you have to pay me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I think I won the lottery with that one. That sort of support from my wife. I don't hear from too many other directors saying, oh yeah, my wife was all in, and she was totally into going on camera. Right. So she sacrificed a lot. Jan, I love you, darling, and thank you for just following my madness and letting me do this. But it has made for a real adorable kind of character set that we created from the Who incident that carries over in Alien BTS. We are the same characters, but meta, we're our real personalities. So I like the idea of something going meta. I've always liked that, and finding the real people from a movie acting in a real situation if the shit went down.
Oh yeah, and like I said, for anyone that hasn't seen it, we have links down below. I can't wait. You guys got to go to, I believe it's on found.tv as of yesterday.
Yes,
and only there right now.
It's there and waiting for you, everybody.
Yeah. And you will see a lot of familiar faces in Alien BTS.
Yes. There was so much collaboration that went on with many directors that you're going to recognize, and they have there's a theme that runs through all these directors. And besides that, a lot of other creatives that aren't even directors that hopped on board to help me in the madness. So, and in a lot of ways, all these roles were remote. So we have this screen life sort of feel to the mockumentary as well, too. And yeah, I don't want to spoil anything.
No.
I want everybody to see what happens. But if I think once you see who's in this film, if you're familiar with him, you're going to have a blast. And yeah, it was a great collaboration because I managed to do a few roles for some of these directors as well in some of their other films. So it's a good feeling when everybody can play well in the sandbox and help each other out and support each other. And it definitely made for a more rounded movie having multiple characters around. It's something I could play with than the two characters of just Jan and I in the Who Incident.
Right. Yeah. And really, of all the creators that come on here, I think there's only been 2 that have not been on this show.
Wow.
2.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone else has been on the show too.
Wow, you gotta search those ones out. Those are the rare Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I know. And for anyone that hasn't seen the Who Incident, why don't you just kind of give a quick recap of what happens in that then?
Yeah, so the Who Incident was my love story to Whitley Strieber and Art Bell. If you don't know who Whitley Strieber is, he's the author of Communion. And abduction experiencer, crazy stories. I've read the book, but he had released a book, he and his wife, called The Communion Letters. Actually, I've got a copy right here.
Ooh.
This is a rare out of print book. If you can find it, it's amazing. Whitley's wife Anne, when he was collecting information and preparing to write for the Communion, they did an all call, and this was before the internet, so I'm not even sure how they did that. Like posted things up to like polls outside or something. But they had many abduction experiencers write in their stories, and this book collects them all. And I remember years ago, I only received this book while we were filming the Who Incident. It's not been in my possession for a long time. But I remember hearing stories on Art Bell of Whitley Strieber talking specifically about these alien encounters. And these 2 always just stuck out of my mind, and boing, I combined them to make this base storyline for the Who Incident. And one of those stories, we can go into a bit of spoiler for the Who Incident since it's been out for a while.
Okay.
Right. One of the stories involved somebody waking up, and at the foot of their bed in the middle of the night are 2 grays surrounding a recently departed loved one. When I heard this story, it's like, well, what are they? Like, what's the afterlife?
Right.
Was that for real? Was that a figment of, who knows? Was it a figment of their imagination? But that story always stuck with me. That one, and another story about somebody driving by and seeing a gray standing on the side of the road, it was a giant 4-foot owl standing on the side of the road in rubber boots. That's why we used rubber boots, the weird element in the Who Incident. We put rubber boots on this owl. They rubbed their eyes, and when they looked back, it was no longer a 4-foot owl. It was now a gray alien standing in rubber boots. It's almost like it was a cloaking device that they were trying to cover the shock of what this person was witnessing. Very strange. So all these stories and more that are crazy are in this book. If you can find it, The Communion Letters, brilliant. So the Who Incident involves my wife and I playing characters, same names, and my father had recently passed away. Well, years ago. He was played by our VFX artist, Dan Turney. He did a great job. We actually flew him in from the East Coast to do his one role that he had in the actual movie.
Nice.
And so Ghost Dad starts appearing. We hear him, we see him, and it's all connected through a trigger item that's Owly.
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see him. There he is. He's right
Yep.
back there in the shelf, right there.
Yes.
He goes off from time to time, and it's a fact. But Ali was a trigger object for Ghost Dad, and throughout the course of the film,
Mhm.
we come to realize that maybe it's not Dad, maybe it is, but along comes some aliens as well. It had to be aliens.
Had to be.
It had to be aliens. And so I tried to process those two Whitley Strieber stories into the concept and the weird twists and turns and strange things that we experience in the Who incident. Ultimately, Ron and Jan are taken away.
Mhm.
And originally, I had planned to have something that I was calling my para trilogy, and I wanted to do 2 sequels to the Who incident. And each of them were going to have Ron and Jan again. And no spoilers, because I think all of us have seen the Who incident. If not, oh well.
Go watch it.
Here we go. Go watch it. Look yours real fast. But I intended to have 2 different movies with us playing 2 different types of characters involving different creatures
Mhm.
that were trying to get us other than the aliens. And I was going to continue the arcing story of the ultra dimensionals, explaining fully what their intention was and what the outcome was by the time the 3rd one came around. Unfortunately, we lost our location. Plus, we lost a lot of energy. That was a big. Those were 2 big movies to do that we would never attain the money for the budget for the effects that were required. So instead, I chose to do something a bit more mockumentary. And I tell you, just like I say in my movie, it's like the idea was downloaded to me, and it came to me right when we were having issues in Las Vegas and in Florida, specifically the Las Vegas alien call and
Mhm.
police around those young kids that spotted an alien in their backyard. Shortly after that, I think we were having the incident. We still don't know what went down in Florida, you know. Just crazy, weird stuff. Not to mention now, shortly after I had finished filming and I'm editing, we get these drones flying everywhere. These
Mhm.
orbs, calling them drones, but a lot of them look suspiciously like some actual anomalies that we captured while we were filming the Who incident. And you can see it in the Who incident.
Yep.
And when you watch Alien BTS, BTS stands for behind the scenes. The film is actually designed to show you some BTS from the Who incident built into the movie. And some of that is talking and talking about and breaking down what actually happened with the daytime and nighttime anomalies that we captured.
Yeah. Yeah. And Laura wants to know, were your cats in the movie? Yes.
Yeah, so Fozzie made it back into the sequel as well. He was a bit shy at that time. At that time, we had another cat too. We had Bandit, but he was nowhere to be seen. He's mellowed out since though, so maybe in our next film we'll be able to get them both in. And if anyone's wondering, because I never explained in BTS, Alien BTS, what happened to the cats or Fozzie, he was in the back the whole time. You just couldn't hear him.
Okay.
And we brought him with us. So without spoiling anything, just know the cat survived. Somebody came and got him.
Yes.
He is okay. The cat's
fine. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was really, when I talked to you last with the multiverse thing that you were going to do. I mean, yeah, budgetary, it makes sense that it's really hard to do. It's going to be a lot of effort. I hope one day you are able to make that because I'm very intrigued by that.
It's pretty cool. I don't know if Jan would have the energy to do that though, on that level. Her involvement in Alien BTS was a little easier, and we designed it that way because she was really busy at the time, and I didn't want to put her through that grueling, exercise again. So
right, and no camera specs this time.
No, not this time. Yeah, it was all one POV this time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The specs may show up in the next one though, because I do like having the 2 POVs. That's pretty awesome.
It is, and I like that. With Alien BTS, without spoiling anything, that you are taking the strange events that were occurring, the stuff that you did capture while doing the Who incidents, and you've had many more instances now since doing Alien BTS, right? Tell us a little about that.
Well, just recently, actually, just leading up to the release of Alien BTS on Found TV, I've been noticing a black unmarked helicopter flying over the house daily, once a day. I work at home, so I am outside from time to time, and we hear it inside the house. It shakes the house. It's flying pretty low, so that's pretty odd. We had that happen when we were filming the Who incident too, and that's one of the BTS scenes that you'll see in Alien BTS is when we were shooting the Ghost Dad sequence. We had to stop filming because we had a helicopter floating above us. Picture this: we're in the deep dark forest, really deep, and we've got a blue filtered production light on. It just stands out like a sore thumb. So maybe it was cops, maybe it was something more nefarious, you know. But besides all that too, at that other location where we filmed both films, Jan and I and other people at certain times too have witnessed crazy things in the sky. Like we saw what they describe, what they're describing as a TR3B. If you're in the know, if you're in the UAP UF know, that's what they're calling those three triangular dots of light that people see flying in the sky.
Okay, yeah.
Ships, because they believe it's reverse engineered, right? And it's our technology. I wouldn't put it past the government not to tell us about anything like that, because let's face it, they're like 20 years behind in what they're actually revealing they have to us all the time, at the very least. So we've seen one of those. We actually saw something that looked like a satellite, and then we saw another one coming diagonally towards it. These things looked like they were on a collision course until one dipped down real fast and just took off straight up into the sky and disappeared like supersonic speed. Like, we've seen crazy stuff there that should not. These aren't planes, you know. Those weren't drones either. Back when we saw those things, drones like that didn't even exist, you know. So there is strange stuff to be seen. And, you know, isn't it auspicious that I'm having lucky number 3 interview with you today on International World UFO Day, if anybody didn't know that. Actually today. So how strange that we start off with an abduction on the show. It's so perfect, right?
Yeah, abduction that the aliens didn't want themselves.
Well,
I made it very awkward for them.
Just because you were rejected, don't be rejected. You know, like maybe that's not a bad thing you got back. So
they take everyone else but me.
that's real. That's like going back to the playground and you're the last person standing for hockey, you know, for ball hockey or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. You know, I was telling you before the show. I'll say here, you know, a couple nights ago, I don't think it was maybe 2 or 3 nights ago. So after I think I did my last show, we did a special Sunday episode, and I was prepping for this show. And my wife wakes me up in the middle of the night. She like starts looking under my pillow. I'm like, what's going on there? She's like, then goes back to sleep. Talk the next morning. I'm like, what was that? She's like, I had a dream that the government was sending drones after us. And I'm just like, and, you know, talking to you, I'm like, that's a weird coincidence. That's a weird ass dream for her to have. And then wake up, I'm like, why are you looking at my pillow? Do you think the drones were there? Could
be all about the show. Maybe it ties into the black helicopters too. Who knows? Maybe your wife's being prophetic, you know?
Maybe. I mean, she could just do the lottery instead. That'd be great.
It's funny you mentioned dreams. You know, I'm not going to mention any names because I don't have permission from my friend, but a dear friend who actually was involved on a certain level with the Who incident and Alien BTS. They had a dream not too long ago. They weren't sure if it was a dream. They woke up in their bed surrounded by white light that was filled the room. Slowly, a couple of figures around the bed formed that looked like grays. And then eventually they looked like giant white owls, like snowy owls. So it's interesting what people dream about, you know?
Yeah.
And, it'd be one thing if I was editing about aliens all the time and started having nightmares because, you know, I'm looking at them and I'm doing that all. But these are people that haven't even thought about that for a while. And just like your wife, what does that, right? Like, what is that? Is that a dream? Are those her fears? Is it a message? Are they downloading something? Hey, I sound like a crazy guy, but we're living in crazy times and anything's possible, right? I'm not going to say it is or it isn't. I've always been a skeptical believer, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting. Like I said, you're telling me stories over the past couple of weeks as we're, you know, gearing up for the show. And it's just like the coincidences are huge, but you know, it's it's interesting because you almost might have to have an Alien BTS at this point.
Well, it's funny, Jan and I were sitting down watching it on Found when it premiered last night, and she pointed out like that we were watching Alien BTS of the BTS. So it's meta almost,
Exactly. Yeah. So I know you undertook, pretty much a lot of the pieces of this, directing, filming, and editing yourselves. So how long did Alien BTS really take to, come together from kind of start to finish, do you think?
Yeah, well, starting filming to now, what are we looking at? We're looking at just over a year, I guess. And the first film, The Who Incident, I had dear friends, Vaughn and Fiorella, his girlfriend Fiorella, working on editing and sound design. So that was like, whew, that was out of my hands. And we did a brilliant job. So this one, though, I felt like I needed to do it all myself. I was trying to maintain the lowest budget possible on this one as well, too. So the budget for this film is, under $300 compared to the other one, which was a lot more. But I wanted to try it as well too, because I'd always been fooling around with DaVinci Resolve. I really like DaVinci Resolve. And so I did my own sounds, I did my own editing, and crossed my fingers. I was expecting it not to work at the very end after all that work and going, what am I doing wrong? But it actually worked out okay, I think. And we've had some good response in regards to the sounds and just the flow of it as well. Phantom Music Box, an amazing artist, created a killer soundtrack for it. So unlike The Who Incident, which was a traditional found footage film, this is a mockumentary. I felt I could get away with a lot more. And thanks. Thank you, Austin. It was great, and I had a lot of fun with the sound effects, the ambient sound effects as well too, and some of the visual effects. They're cheesy, granted, and my tongue is firmly planted in my cheek for this whole film. So anybody going into it, don't take it seriously, but enjoy the ride.
Yeah. I mean, it's kudos to you, because editing, especially if I was editing myself, I have such a problem doing that. I really do. I have to do it all the time. I don't like doing it, but I do it. And it's just a great thing to see you do that and kind of dipping your toes into that field too. Is there anything you kind of wish like you were surprised about how maybe easy or even difficult it was with editing yourself?
Well, one thing, I found a great tutorial, and I realized how great it was to have noise reduction. It works like a charm, and with the magic of editing, you can lay in some sounds too to help. For instance, if you're in the forest and you got cars going by, well, the editing the noise reduction might take out some of the ambient sounds as well, but you can lay that stuff in it as well.
Yeah.
So it's really I really like sound processing, because good sound in a film is crucial to selling the idea and to building some tension and
Oh yeah. I completely agree. And I even think like we have so much sound, even then the lack of sound becomes a character in itself too. I always say that, because if you're in the forest, you hear all the animals, all the crickets, the frogs, everything, all of a sudden nothing.
Oh yeah, something's up. Something's up. I've been in the forest when that's happened. Don't know why that happened, but I tell you, it's really jarring and shocking and a little disturbing, because you're wondering what's causing that to happen, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of the premise of a short film that I'm working on, maybe 35 to 40 minutes. I'm hoping to film here in a couple months. Cool. It's going to be called The Dark Forest.
Nice.
And it's going to be about an influencer survivalist who's recording everything he does. But what happens when he's not the apex predator in the forest?
That he thinks he is. I love it.
He thinks he is. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So, funny enough, you probably would love this too. The dark forest theory that exists. Have you heard about that?
No. What's this?
It's part of the 3-body problem about aliens. And the idea is in the dark forest, you generally don't want to make noise, because if you make noise, you are saying where you are in the forest, and other people can come find you. And so the dark forest theory is, when it comes to aliens, is everyone's quiet and silent out in the rest of the cosmos because they're afraid of who might listen. And here we are on Earth going, "Hey, look at us."
Yeah. Sending up things, going, check it out. Come eat
Yeah.
at Joe's, right?
Yeah.
Or it should be come eat Joe.
Exactly. So, and that's the dark forest theory, is like, maybe everyone else is being silent in the cosmos, and because we are sending too much attraction to Earth by sending this stuff out there, and what danger that could lead to.
Oh yeah, that's a real relevant concern.
Yeah, and all ties back to aliens.
It's always about aliens, isn't it?
It is. Without spoiling anything else, do you have the next project in mind that you want to do?
Yeah, we've got a rough idea, and with the new location, I've just got to talk to a few key people and see if they'd be able to work with me on this. And I'm going to have to write it, and like I did with Alien BTS, I think I might do the same thing. So, whereas the Who incident, I wrote a full out script. We scripted it. We did readings, and the Who incident, my storyboard looked more like an animation storyboard. Sorry, my script was more like a storyboard. So I had a piece of cardboard. It was actually a moving box because we were moving, and I put Post-it notes on it, and with just the seed ideas, so I can move things around and get the right flow that I wanted visually. It's an amazing technique to use for a visual aid. And I think I'll do the same thing with this one as well. And just so some lines in the Alien BTS for myself were scripted, and because it's myself explaining BTS and that, so I had to have something down. I couldn't just ad lib that.
Right,
but for the most part, it was just an idea that was given to the other directors and creatives of what I required. And they just went to town on their own and did it. So they didn't have any script to worry about. And I think as a result, it came off very natural. And it's so far, a lot of people that have seen it really dig the fact that all these other creatives are in it, and the flow. It's just over an hour, barely over an hour. So I think it allowed it to flow much faster without filler, keeping it to an hour. And it's interesting. Sometimes we don't need a longer movie. Sometimes we need some of the stuff taken out in between, and it's more of an enjoyable ride. Somebody even said, I just finished watching it and I'm going to go watch it again. So I do like that. And I might, I'm going to look at that in the future when I make other films too. Just, there's something called establishment, but then there's milking it too, right? And I don't. But so I'm not sure when filming is going to take place for that one, but it's either going to be this fall or next fall. It'd be great if it could be this fall, and I could have it in the can and then slowly chip away at it again over the Christmas for a little winter project.
Yeah,
but I'll be announcing stuff when I have it to announce, and this one's going to be great. This one's crazy as well. And I will say it's going to be a mockumentary as well.
Okay.
So continuing, but it's not necessarily going to be aliens. It's going to be something way out there that I don't think I've ever seen done before. Ooh. So it's nice to have different stuff out there.
It is, and that's always my concern with what I'm writing, what I'm creating myself, is just going. I send to a group of people that you know who they are, and my co-host as well. I go, has this been done before? And if so, okay, let me change it. But if it's never been done this way before, I'm like, to me, I want to go that route. We have the same 12 stories that exist throughout time and history, but it's just different people telling just different ways to get to the end. It's really that journey, I think, along the way.
Yeah. And it's always about the journey, right?
Yeah.
You should enjoy the journey because that's the meat of it. Sometimes people are too focused on getting to that end and they don't even enjoy the time in between. Like anybody who's making yeah, right on. Do you like that? Hey, Austin? Anybody who's making a film for the first time, always remember, enjoy it. Like
Mhm.
don't don't suffer through the entire thing stressed out because you're maybe not getting the shots you want. Work around that, be creative, but just enjoy the process because it's very special. You're birthing something.
Yeah. And I can tell you the 8 days I was in Connecticut with Josh and team. And, yes, there was a lot of us in a small house with one bathroom for 8 days, which was great. But it's, and I come back to my day job and I'm just going, I want to do that instead. I really, really do.
Yeah.
And it's being on set. It's a whole different thing. It's a creative process. And, you know, are you having late nights? Yes, you are. Is it a lot of work to get it done? It is, but you're enjoying it. At least
Yes.
I'm enjoying it, and I think if you stop enjoying it, that's when it becomes a problem. But
Yeah.
enjoy it while you're making it.
Yeah.
And honestly, take as many pictures as you can. Make sure the director's okay with it before you post anything, obviously, before it comes out. But it's just a blast on set.
Well, anything like this is art, like any art. It's part of you that you're putting out there.
Mhm.
And to me, I look at it like an exchange. It's a give and take on a soul level. And if you're not fulfilling yourself, if you're not filling your heart with the love for what you're doing, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it. So always remember that. Just
Yeah.
love what you're doing. Like you said, if there comes a day where you're not loving it, maybe you have to step away for a while to go back to appreciate that again, right?
Yeah. And I gotta say, for all of us that were in the woods in tick season, in poison ivy, bears being seen recently, none of us got any ticks or poison ivy. So that's
Amazing. But you're not saying anything about the Bears.
well, we lost one guy. He was
Oh,
PA.
that's not bad. Jeez. One
Just
guy?
PA.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
PA.
yeah. But no ticks, right?
No ticks. No ticks.
We did a tour and we did a crypto tour through West Virginia one year.
Mhm.
And we stopped off at the munitions location near Point Pleasant, where Mothman was supposedly first sighted.
Yeah.
And we were looking for the ammunition domes. And so we walked down this little path, and somebody got a tick. And man, you guys got ticks down there in West Virginia that are like 4 times the size of the ones up here. It's like they're like, if you came home, they'd be sitting at the table playing cards, drinking your alcohol type size ticks. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
That's
yeah.
just crazy.
Yeah. It's a blast, but yeah, and yet we keep filming in forests. My dark forest is going to take place in the woods, so it's going to be another tick adventure.
Well, hey, but the forest does become a character, right? And
Mhm.
I really dig daytime, nighttime forest in any found footage film or horror film because you're in somebody else's territory and anything can happen. And like you say, when you're shooting that for real, I'm a little bit intimidated going back into this forest. We're new here. It's not our place. We're new, and the critters don't know us yet, and I'm not sure what's back there. So we'll have to proceed with caution with that one. And like you say, take a lot of BTS just in case the shit hits the fan, right?
Exactly. I mean, you are in grizzly country, right?
Well, we've had a brown bear that's been spotted in our local town, wandering around. More in the city. We're in the outskirts. We're in the
Okay.
countryside, but they're harmless. They're looking for food this time of the year, and but not grizzly or anything like that. No,
Okay.
no.
That's good.
Hey, I wanted to mention too. Anybody watching Alien BTS? There are a few hidden things that nobody spotted yet. There are a couple of things that are really creepy. If you see them, you'll go, whoa. So watch for that. There were hidden things. I could be my own found footage film. The lighting, right? It was a dark and stormy night. We just had a storm blow through too. But getting back to that, the Who incident even had some planted clues as to what the next two sequel films in the Para trilogy I had planned were going to be. We already pre-planned having that built into that. So there's a few things that point towards what our characters would have been. They are,
Yeah.
without giving. I still don't want to give that away in case I want to do something with that one day. But
Yeah.
I do like planting things like that in there. And in fact, there's an unrelated Easter egg in the Who incident hanging up in the shed. When you see me go in the shed, if anybody finds that, go on one of the found footage groups and let me know you found it, because nobody's found that yet.
I gotta go back and rewatch it. I gotta go back and watch Alien BTS again for the second time. It's been an absolute blast watching them. I was able to catch the 420 on your stove for Who incident. So yeah, it's awesome. So before we wrap up the show, Ron, anything else you want to share about Alien BTS? Or said we have links to found.tv below, but anything else to share out?
Yeah, so also exclusive. It's only on Found TV right now. That might change in a bunch of months, but for now, it's the home of Alien BTS. And there as well, exclusively, you can now watch the Who incident with English, French, and Spanish subtitles. And the same goes for Alien BTS. We've got English, French, and Spanish subtitles. I know there's a lot of different language out there. There's a lot of people that speak Spanish that enjoy found footage films, so much so that Found TV has made a Spanish subtitle category. Ooh. Hidden stuff. Look for it, Laurel. Hidden stuff. It's been there the whole time, right in front of your nose. Every time I see that shot in the barn, I'm like, my God, it's right there. We love Found TV too. We do love, Found TV is so supportive of indie horror directors, and they're creators themselves, and they know what it takes, and they know the sacrifice, they know what's involved. So they're so accommodating. We love them a lot, and that's why we wanted to go exclusive with them on this one. Yes. So Alien BTS, yeah. If you want to find us, we are on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We still have our YouTube page, Haunted Lodge Productions. You can go look at the trailers and stuff there if you want. And we're out there.
Awesome. Once again, everyone who hasn't seen Alien BTS, go watch it at found.tv. Watch the Who incident as well. And if you already watched it, go watch it again. We got to have an Easter egg video trying to see if we can find the Easter eggs.
Yes, please do.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. I hope you come on for a fourth time and beat that Hunter Nino.
It's a race. I got to get to that next film real soon.
Exactly. All right. Well, Ron, we have to end the show, of course, with the random horror trivia question.
All right.
We always do. All right. Here you go. Let's see here. Sibling motel managers and meat entrepreneurs trap travelers and harvest them for their world famous sausages in what 1980 horror comedy?
Oh, I love this one. It's one of two. But I think it's having a brain fart. Hotel Hell.
Yes.
Is it Motel Hell?
Motel Hell, yes.
Motel Hell, right? What a brilliant film. If anybody's never seen that, you got to see that. Now that is firmly tongue planted in cheek. Brilliant comedy. The two leads are hilarious.
Oh, for sure.
I love horror like that. Hey, I'm 4 for 4, right?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I'm after you there, Hunter. I think you missed one of those. You got to catch up.
He does. He definitely does. I'll harp on him about it later. So thank you, Ron, for coming on. Thank you, everyone, new and old in the chat. We very much appreciate you. Now I have to go ice my behind from the alien probe I got early at the beginning of the show. We'll see you next time, and don't get lost in the void. Good night.
Good night.